This is a speedrun of the Blue Marlin for NES. A speedrun, very simply, is just playing the game through from beginning to end. A segmented speedrun is playing a game from beginning to end in segments or pieces and taking the sum of the best times of each piece, adding them together for a final time. It's a different category than a single segment or straight through speedrun, and each of them works a little bit differently. I am Activate. I am a Blue Marlin enthusiast and speedrunner. I do have some single segment runs available on my YouTube channel and my Twitch channel. This is a segmented run, as I said, of the Blue Marlin, and I'm going to be giving commentary through it. I'm giving commentary after I've already cut the video together. In the Blue Marlin, you play through over 4 tournament days. To advance, you have to catch the largest billfish, or marlin-type fish, in each day. You can see on day 1 here, my first fish that I caught was a 400-pound Blue Marlin. 406 was the total weight, and that's enough to win the day. So day 1 is already over. In the segmented speedrun, we time it from accepting the name to seeing the password screen of each day. So on day 1, my time was 1:03:07. Day 2, using the segmented speedrun, we reset and we use the password system to advance directly to where we were with our character stats intact. That's how you can make sure you could actually verify this if you wanted to using my passwords. Verify my character stats as I go through here. This is basically what keeps the run consistent. This could be done in one segment theoretically if all of the luck lined up perfectly. Which is another cool thing about segmented speedruns, is that games that are rather luck dependent, like the Blue Marlin, is extremely luck or RNG dependent. In those games, you can have nice runs put together that would be theoretically possible, but very unlikely using single segment or just playing the game through without hundreds and hundreds of attempts. Day 2 is the weakest day of this segmented run. It's where the most improvement could be. I went 20 or 30 attempts on this day 2 without hooking any fish larger than 200 pounds except one. I did hook one 400-pounder first right out of the gate. But I did notice that when I caught the second and third fish, it was much more likely to be of a larger size and thus a day-winning weight. You're generally shooting for about 500 pounds or so on this day. 600 is a more safe weight to advance from day 2. So after 20 or 30 attempts and only hooking these 200-pounders, I decided to just try and see how quickly I could get 2 or 3 fish. So you can see the first fish wasn't a day winner, and the second fish is not going to be a day winner. But I was so fed up after doing 20 or 30 attempts and more of this, and not getting anything larger, that I decided to just take this segment, having hooked a nice fish on the 3rd attempt, and taking a 3-minute or so time, which theoretically also could be about a minute, just like day 1 was, if whatever strange luck gods lined up, or possibly a strange rule in the game having to do with your character stats and your line strength and everything else. There's still a lot about the game at this point that we don't know. This is what we call a QTE, a quick time event in this game. There are several of them you'll see throughout this segmented run. They're not great in segmented runs, and here this happens again. You have to make a choice on those, and your choice will be correct, incorrect, or neutral, and that's determined by luck or RNG. So there's not really much you can do about them except try to avoid them. Now the propeller one you can avoid, or try to avoid, by bringing the fish in as quickly as you can once it reaches 30 feet away from the boat. But there's other QTEs that we'll see. So the 3rd fish caught was the day winner on this one. So you can see my time is well up over 3 minutes, where it could be right around 1 minute again. So again, we see the password screen at the end, and we're going to be advancing on to day 3, but you could verify with this password, get my same character stats on your own game of the Blue Marlin if you cared to. And you can see I've verified that that's the same password entered into that. So I'm not using a souped up character in this game, on this day. This is day 3. I'm using a trick here that is used to kind of warp your lure to your boat. And you notice that my lure was in front of the fish when I went into the menu, and my boat was behind the fish. When I went to the menu and did my menuing, changing my line strength to 160 and my line length to 100, it warped the lure through the school to my boat behind the school where I wanted them, procking this marlin, which was a day-winning size fish, and I got the lucky go for it, the fish is very exhausted prompt, which just instantly adds a bunch of fish exhaustion to the fish. At this point, there's nothing we can do to manipulate that happening. We just have to hope that that pops up by luck. But this was only my second or third attempt on this particular day of day 3 of hooking and grabbing the day-winning fish. Now, interestingly, I get a slightly slower time on day 3 than on day 1, and that's simply because the fish was so much larger. I had to wait several extra seconds of weighing the fish at the weigh-in screen and at the victory screen where it weighs the fish again. So had it been the same size as the day 1 fish, that possibly could have been under 1 minute without all that extra resetting. So this is day 4. We're on to day 4, the final day of the tournament. You notice I'm not always picking the default fishing screen. Each tournament day you have 3 options of places you can fish. Sometimes the default one is the one we want, sometimes it's not, and that's just chosen based on level layouts. This is Ni-Hao, and it's the most open level layout. There's the fewest obstacles on this screen. It's generally agreed that this is, on day 4, of the 3 choices you have, the easiest to navigate. There are fewer obstacles, nooks and crannies that fish can get into. Here again, I'm using this trick to warp my lure to be right under my boat and right in the marlin spawn zone, where it quickly spawns a marlin. I can tell right away that it's the day winner, and I got the go for it prompt right away. But even then, I reel it in rather slowly because my character is so under-leveled. This route used to involve a long grind to get your character up to a higher level, but we're skipping that grind now, so we're under-leveled comparatively. So you do have to rely a little bit more on a lucky hook set, which I have with this fish, and the lucky prompt of the go for it, which I got with this fish after many, many, many attempts on day 4 here. But again, this would be theoretically possible in a single segment if all the luck lined up correctly. So you can see it says it weighs approximately 1,000 pounds. At this point, the game's over. There's no way that the day winner can be heavier than that. The game rolls a random weight to beat at the beginning of each day, but the 1,000 pounds is well out of that range of a fish that could beat me, so all that we need to do now is get the boat back to the dock, do the weigh-in. Of course, it weighs twice, and then on day 4 we end when we get to the game over screen, not the password screen. It's a very slight change. But ways this can be optimized, one could be hooking the fish closer to the dock. Even though this was my first fish of the day, it took me, as you can see, it's going to be 2 minutes and 10 seconds to beat this level, to beat this day. Theoretically, it could be done much faster than that if I hook the fish right off of the gate. So the total time on this run is 7:34. So 7 minutes 34 seconds is the total time of this run. Could be theoretically possible in a single segment, and there's still some improvement that can be done with this. Day 2 has a lot of room for improvement, as does day 4. Day 1 and day 3 are pretty close to optimized, although they could be a couple seconds shaved off. Before we end here, I would like to give shoutouts to some of the people who are doing the Blue Marlin with me, Soniku2008 and Supreme Oppressor. I will link to both of their Twitch accounts in the comments section of this video. You should definitely check them out. If you're interested in getting involved in the Blue Marlin, do get in touch with me. I do maintain the Blue Marlin back on GameFAQs, and I do speedruns on this channel and my Twitch channel. I'm happy to answer your questions, and I'd love to hear your feedback.